Main event still to come then. Lennox Lewis against Michael Grant for the world heavyweight title. Adam Smith weighs up what's at stake.
It is time for the two biggest and best heavyweights in the world to learn the truth.
April 29th, I'm going to lay it all out in that ring. Everything that I worked hard for.
He's never been in the ring against a boxer like me. Like I said, I'm going to take him into the deep end and see if he can swim.
Lewis has vastly superior ring experience, from winning the Olympics to beating undefeated fighters to proving himself against all the odds. He would also have learned so much from his fights with Holyfield.
These guys think they know it, but they don't know it. And when they're in there, then they're fully surprised and they're in shock.
But Michael Grant is young, hungry, bigger and unbelievably confident. He has never been beaten and predicts he will knock Lewis out. A brilliant athlete who throws hundreds of punches, Grant has been locked away training fanatically.
When you in there and when you in the kitchen and you cooking and everything is tasting good and everything is mixing right, you know, you can't go wrong.
Trainer Don Turner could be crucial. His fighters Evander Holyfield and Henry Akinwande both failed with Lewis, but he believes the bigger men give the champion trouble. Lewis will not be able to push Grant off easily, and he won't have the reach advantage. Will Lewis commit? He hasn't very often since that McCall right hand. He's been shaken, his stamina already questioned, and he is getting older. Perhaps most importantly, though, has he been basking in the unified glory?
I love the fact that everybody calls me undisputed, and they used to call me champ, so, you know, it has its glorified moments.
The truth on paper puts Lewis favourite. He destroyed Andrew Golota in 95 seconds. Grant had a nightmare first round against the Polish heavyweight when he was down twice. He did, though, show tremendous heart to come back and stop Golota, and is ready for any situation or any game that Lewis wants to play.
Let me set him up. Let's play chess. You want to play chess? Hey, you want to cook? Let's cook.
You're both athletic, two fighters, big men.
But the question is, can he take it on the chin?
One of the questions, Lennox. The bigger question about Michael Grant must remain, is this a step too far, too soon?
To me, I would say definitely for Michael Grant, it's very much too early. Michael Grant is a big, strong guy, like everybody's been saying. But against a man like Lennox Lewis, who's got the experience of being in there on these big occasions, he's undisputed champion, going in there, as far as the American public are concerned, you know, they always keep lambasting him and don't really give him the credit he deserves. He's going to go out there and show him, look, you know what, this is me.
Michael Grant has been in what Lennox Lewis calls the B-grade school, learning his trade against men who will never quite be world-class in their own right. Is it any preparation for what he's going to face tonight?
No, not really. You can train and you can prepare yourself, and I know this myself, with guys that you feel are at that level, at the level of someone like Lennox Lewis. But actually getting in there in a big crowd situation and facing it for real, it's a different ballgame.
It's not long for Michael Grant now to wait until he finds out just what it's like. Lennox Lewis knows it all so well. When we come back, we'll make our final judgments on the world heavyweight title. That night, it only lasted 1:35, just to remind you of how sharp Lennox Lewis can be. What are your thoughts about how he started this fight, Barry?
That it could be crucial because he's such a fast and lively starter, and he's got tremendous accuracy. And what's the amount of punches he puts together here? About 6-7 punches he hits Golota, and Golota never got over that. When he hurts you, Lewis, he will not let you finish. And believe me, this fight could end the same way. Don't doubt that. This could happen the same way. If he nails this guy on the chin, the fight could be over very quickly because he is hittable, as we saw in his fight against Golota. He carries that left hand a bit low. We know he's been working on keeping the hands up high, but when you're in a pressure fight like this, a pressure cooker fight like this, and you know, when Lewis goes to the centre ring and stares you right in between the eyes, he puts the fear of God into you. And he could make this guy panic, he could drop his hands, and this could be an early night. So it'll be interesting to see how the fight starts.
When Michael Grant met Andrew Golota, he dropped his hands, and very nearly it was over before he had his chance to secure this big job.
Doesn't he look confident here, though? And that could be the point, that he's overconfident.
That's how he describes it now. He looks back on it and says,
he was left hand down, taking a risk. Didn't look to be. He won't have that attitude against Lennox Lewis because he knows Lewis is so dangerous, and he's working on keeping his hands up. And I'm sure for the first 2 or 3 rounds we'll be a bit cautious and try to stay away from Lennox. If he mixes it, well, then the hands will come down. When he does mix it, even now he's opening up. Admittedly, he's got Golota on the go, but he's so open. Look at this. I mean, his hands are down. He's punching. His chin is very high. If he does that against Lewis, he's got no chance. But it's going to be so interesting. This is a massive athlete that you know, we just cannot wait to see what's going to happen.
Although he got the victory over Golota, we don't know yet whether Michael Grant truly is the real thing, the successor to Evander Holyfield and the other outstanding recent American heavyweights. But he fits their bill. He is their marketing package, certainly. They call him the anti-Tyson. A young, devout, well-educated, polite, well-spoken man. Yes, it is time. And before we go back live, Jules, for you, Michael Grant, what is his best chance of causing the upset?
Well, I don't think he can cause an upset, but maybe his best chance is if he does go out there and try and blast Lennox out in the first couple of rounds. That might be his game plan. But if he does do that, Lennox is going to capitalise on it, and Lennox is going to expose him.
Thank you. Let's get back there as Michael Grant comes out for the big test and rejoin Glenn McCrory in the Indar.
Is this the man to take the heavyweight championship back to the United States, where some observers, perhaps a shade arrogantly this week, have said the heavyweight championship's rightful place is America? We would beg to differ, I suppose, in Britain, with Lennox Lewis reigning as he does. But this is Grant, gifted with natural athletic brilliance. At college, good enough for a career in American football or the NBA. He also threw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. He came late to boxing at 20 and has established a 31-fight unbeaten record. And he's beaten some decent names, including, as you've heard, getting off the floor twice to beat Andrew Golota. And he almost seems to be in a state of spiritual meditation. He's a very religious man.
Well, that's what fighters get like. You know, I mean, it is. You're trying to find something out about yourself.
That's earlier on, before he left the dressing room.
Yes, they all prayed. The whole camp said a prayer in the dressing room. He is a religious man, and you know, obviously, you know, you've got to try and find something in yourself and find something about your faith and how much you believe you can do what you want to do. But he might need to throw a 90-mile-an-hour punch if he's going to dethrone Lennox Lewis.
We wondered earlier this week if he was losing his nerve. But he seems to have just come alive a little since coming into the arena here, doesn't he? This man who's polite, Bible reading, who sings in his church choir and plays the piano. He wears spectacles out of the ring. He almost looks like a lawyer. But at 6'7" and nearly 18 stone, he represents danger if he can hold his nerve and carry out his strategy tonight. Well, can he?
Well, he's got it all to do. It's a big shout, but you know, he says he's ready. He's worked hard. He really has cut himself off in his training camp in North Carolina. Worked. You know, when I was there, it was like being on a rock. He said he really was punishing his body to get ready for this moment, and he said he was going to do it. He was going to take the title away from Lennox Lewis.
He looks like a man, doesn't he, who knows this is his night of destiny.
Yes, I think he does. I think sports people know when it's your one night when you've got to do it there and then, and this is his night. This is when, if he's ever going to do it, he's got to try and do it now.
So we await now the entry of Lennox Lewis. Here he comes, having had his habitual sleep backstage.
Keep moving.
Is there any more languid man in the world than the man that we still regard really as the undisputed heavyweight champion, regardless of the politics of the courtrooms and the WBA? There is his mother, Violet, with him every step along the way. And of course, his biggest fan. Well, he's enjoying the view from the top of the boxing mountain. Now does he have the drive and motivation to stay there? Interestingly, his trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, has been filling his head with fear, he says this week, reminding him how painful and damaging it would be to his reputation to lose in what is effectively a first defense of becoming world #1.
Well, a boxer has to feel fear, and Manny Stewart's trying to get him to feel it, just in case he is getting lazy about it. He's not as focused as he was. I'm sure he will be, but Manny Stewart's there to motivate their champion.
All the greats have established an era of domination. Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. Can Lewis go on to do that? No non-American ever has as yet. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, New York City. Tonight, 29 April, year 2000. Panics of USA, main events, and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, present two men. The two combined biggest men in boxing history, facing each other for one title. The one true title, the legitimate, universally recognized, undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, the WBC, the IBF, and the IBO. Presented in association with TVKO pay-per-view from HBO Sports and HBO World Championship Boxing. At ringside, the three judges assigned to score this 12-round bout on the 10-point must system are Anek Hongtong-Kam, Melvina Lathan, and Steve Weisfeld. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Arthur Mercanti Jr. And now, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trimmed with blue. He stands 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 250 pounds. He comes to the ring tonight with a perfect professional record consisting of 31 bouts, 31 victories, including 22 knockouts, and he has held the world title belt of the IBC. Ladies and gentlemen, from Norristown, PA, USA, here is the top-rated world contender, the undefeated challenger, Michael Grant. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, standing tall at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing in at 247 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one with 37 bouts. He has 35 victories, including 27 knockouts Only one defeat with one draw while capturing 4 World Championship title belts. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, presenting the universally recognized, reigning and defending, undisputed, true heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Second here, everybody else out. Let's clear the way.
Now watch here, Michael Grant usually says, God bless you, to his opponent at the end of the instructions.
Good evening, gentlemen. You two are big men. Let's have a nice, clean fight. Good luck to the both of you.
God bless. He did say it as well. Didn't Mike Tyson used to do that as well?
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
Very emotional, Michael Grant looks. 27 years of age from Norristown, Pennsylvania. And Lennox Lewis defending his territory. Grant says he'll put pressure on early on. Good jab and a good right hand and a left hook from Grant. Lewis having to take those shots early on.
Well, he's true to his word. This is what he said he was going to do. This is what he trained for.
Keep it clean. Step back, Lennox.
Grant with the blue waistband, for those of you who may need the identification. It can't be many. Right hand from Lewis. Grant's whole strategy based on speed and work rate to make Lewis fight at a pace he may not like. He's looked a bit sloppy defensively early on here, Lennox.
Step back now.
Grant has a way of stopping opponents late in fights. Lewis may not be able to be too languid
Stop holding now.
tonight,
Stop leaning down, Lennox.
too relaxed about it. Can't afford to drift.
Lennox has got to get his jab working, got to get his boxing going, start dominating behind that jab. It's a very educated punch.
Break! Come on, let's stop holding now, man. We're champs.
This might be interesting too. Grant at 6'7", looking to become the tallest world heavyweight champion in history. If he gets there, beating Jess Willard years and years ago. Great right uppercut and a clubbing right from Lennox Lewis, and Grant is laid out in the very first round. Can he get up from that? The count is at 5, 6, 7. He's all over the place. Does he know where he is? I don't think so. He was down against Gallotta. He breathes heavily. Lewis just gives him a second more. He's looking to just pick the punches here. Lennox Lewis. More clubbing rights, and Grant's gone again. He's gone again. He'll have to take another count because only the ropes kept him up.
4, 5.
Can he get through this? There is 45 seconds left in the round now. There's no 3 knockdown rule in effect. Another knockdown doesn't necessarily finish it, but Lewis has got him here, just as he had Andrew Gallotta. Grant down twice in the round and in crisis. Lewis has to go for him here and try to finish it off. What is he waiting for a second there? He's looking to just pick the shots. Grant is absolutely all over the place.
And he's out on his feet.
Oh, that's it, surely. Huge right hand. 3 knockdowns in the round.
4, 5.
The count is 5. Is he going to make it? The bell's going to go any second too. He gets up at 8 and the bell goes. And how on earth did Michael Grant get through that?
Well, that was an unbelievable round, and the punches that went in from Lennox Lewis. How Michael Grant is still in this fight. He's been asked if he's all right. He said he is, but he took some unbelievable shots. The last right hand, it was just like he'd been shot.
Well, one of the big questions in this fight is, did Grant have a dodgy chin? Did Gallotta expose the fact that his punch resistance could be questionable, to put it mildly? And I think we've got our answer.
Ian, we said if Lennox Lewis is focused, if Lennox Lewis is aggressive, he can do this to any man he hits.
Huge right uppercut, then a chopping right. for the first one. Here comes knockdown 2.
He's all over the place at this stage. There's little shots going in. The final right hand, just the legs went from under him, and only the corner just kept him up there. And the last one, that right hand, it didn't look he'd ever get up from that one. That was a beautiful chopping right hand.
Here's the second round. Lewis is going for it. No caution here. He's been described as too laid back and cautious, Lewis, but once he's got his man softened, usually he's been a very good finisher in the past. He's just looking to pick the shots. If Grant comes back from this, it would be the biggest comeback surely in heavyweight history. Good left hand there from Grant, though. How explosive do you like your heavyweight championship fights?
Well, the Americans wanted somebody that could fight, somebody that was aggressive and was exciting. They've got one in Lennox Lewis.
Now the right cross. Lewis really going for it here. He's gambling.
Step back.
He has to be a little bit careful. He just doesn't get caught and tagged by one himself.
He has to be careful. He hasn't got to get too wild. Do it behind the jab. Pick his punches. Just be cool.
But he knows he has the power to send Grant's head spinning.
Come on. Right here.
He's still fighting through a haze, I think, Grant. He's fighting on instinct. Maybe all that conditioning in North Carolina may get him through for a little while. Who knows? Or is it just a case of waiting for the next Lewis humdinger?
Well, in close like that, this is where Lennox comes into his own. He's so physically strong. He can pull himself loose and get the hands free to get the punches on.
They're going ahead. Michael. Break.
Grant's corner desperately hoping his head might clear. Remember, against Andrew Gallotta, Grant came back from 2 knockdowns in the first round to win the fight, but these are big right uppercuts now, and Lewis has him holding on for dear life.
Well, all that training, all that conditioning is the only thing that's keeping Michael Grant on his feet.
It's a big right hand from Grant. It got through. Lewis took it, though. It was a big shot from Michael Grant, whose big chance is turning so far into a big nightmare.
Step back.
I don't think he hardly knows where he is at the moment, Michael Grant. He's just getting through on conditioning and instincts, and there's a right uppercut, and that might be the end of it. It lays him out. 4 is the count. 5, 6, he's not going to make it. 7, 8, he's not going to make it. It is all over. Knocked out, round 2. The World Heavyweight title stays in Britain with Lennox Lewis.
Well, what about that for performance? I thought it would be a tremendous fight. I thought Lennox could do it early, and all it needed was Grant to take the fight to him, and Lewis just came alive and found the shots to finish it.
Michael Grant could never get into that. Down 4 times in the fight, and Lewis has restated his case here. The best that America has to offer among its new generation of heavyweights, totally wiped out and destroyed by Britain's king of the scene.
He's just been asked where he is and what's happened. He's just said, I'm just getting knocked out in the second round. He's got a sense of humor as well.
What a performance from Lennox Lewis. And they say, some people, this man can't be exciting. They've forgotten Ruddock, they forgot Gallotta. Add Grant to that list after this. What a shot.
Unbelievable shot. Just found a gap that he needed. I said he's strong inside. He can get his arms out. He can find the space. And look at this uppercut. It almost lifts him off his feet.
Well, Grant's whole strategy was based on work rate and trying to get on the inside. And we were talking, weren't we, earlier this week, and saying if he gets on the inside, he better watch out for Lewis's right uppercut. There it goes.
Well, he delivered it perfectly, didn't he? And, you know, I mean, he really is putting a statement out there. This is something, you know, this is the best contender out there. This is the only man that had a chance with Lennox Lewis. This is the only guy who could take the fight to him and maybe get to him. And what happened? He just got blown away.
back at the Garden. He didn't need the judges this time. They were never going to be called on.
Let Lennox through. Let Lennox through. I'm strong. I'm strong.
Strong, says Michael Grant. But
good job,
Lennox really, in the harsh, hard world of professional boxing, just blew him away.
Yes, he did. He's a very good champion, and he did that so well. He's so happy with that. That really threw a message across America and the world. He's the best one out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 53 seconds into round number 2. The winner by knockout victory, and still the universally recognized, undisputed, true heavyweight champion of the world, from East London, England, Lennox Lewis.
Fireworks to celebrate. Were you watching, WBA?
Well,
were you watching?
That was the biggest slap in the face the organised body WBA could have had.
How can they put on a world heavyweight title fight between Holyfield and John Ruiz and expect anyone to keep a straight face after watching that? There's no doubt in anyone's mind in the world, bar about 10 guys obsessed with boxing politics, that this is the number one.
Well, it was a complete joke. Absolutely. He stripped that thing when he stepped in the ring, and it just made a mockery of that. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
There's the punch stat for you. But really, you don't have to bother about statistics. It was all there before your very eyes. Grant on the canvas 4 times, and he was never, ever going to get up from that last right uppercut, as we are surrounded now by confetti falling all around the arena. Well, maybe that's appropriate too, because there's some talk of wedding bells for Lennox Lewis somewhere down the line. I think his lady was here somewhere tonight.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Here we go. Here's Lennox.
Congratulations, Lennox. You thought that because of what happened in Grant's last fight with Galata when he got knocked down in the first round, that he wouldn't be so bold. Were you shocked that he came at you the way he did?
Yeah, I was shocked. I said if he came at me, it was going to be a short fight. You know, I was surprised when they said he was going to come at me, straight at me. I was surprised because I'm the hardest fight in his whole career. He's been boxing against B-class opponents. Now he's moved up against A-class opponents, and I was really surprised.
What were your thoughts at that moment? Did it take you a moment to gather yourself and say, okay, I'm just going to wait and see, look for openings?
Yeah, I realized that, you know, after I was throwing my jab, he kept on putting his head down. So I realized I got more superior speed. He's never seen a boxer like me, so, you know, I felt very confident going in there.
Did anything he threw at you and landed have any effect on you?
No, not really, because most of the time I've seen when he was winding up. You know, he came in there pretty gutsy. He's a good young fighter. He definitely should keep it up.
We're going to take a look at the final knockdown that resulted in the end of this fight, and I want you to look at it and tell me. Now, aren't you holding him at the same time as you're punching him?
Well, no, not really. He was actually put his head down, so I just kept his head in one position so I could get a good shot at it.
Could you tell that after the knockdowns in the first round that he wasn't all there coming out in the second round?
Well, I realized, you know, if I hit him and he went down, all I have to do is keep on hitting him. Like I said, you know, he got up against Galata, but if he dared to get up against me, I'll just hit him again. And, you know, more time, it's just going to be harder and harder.
Your trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, has wanted you to be aggressive, says that you have needed to show passion, to go after opponents, to produce exciting, dramatic results. Have you been listening to him too well? Is this what you were hoping for?
You know, I say styles make fights, you know, and I believe that Michael Grant was a perfect style for me to showcase some of my talent. You know, if he would have moved in the later rounds, I would have showed a bit more. But, you know, I don't get paid for overtime.
So, in effect, you're saying that you are who you are, And if the fighter comes to you, then he can expect the incoming as well as the outgoing.
I just come to conquer. That's all. Just come to conquer. Any guy that steps in front of me get knocked out straight away. You know what I mean?
After two major fights, the two biggest fights of your life last year against Evander Holyfield, and finally conquering the mountain, get to where you wanted for so many years, were you either concerned that maybe unconsciously you would let down here, or did you feel this is going to even make you better somehow?
It's just going to make me better. I improve with each fight. You know, the two fights against Evander Holyfield were just, you know, just one step to greatness.
Thank you very much. You were great tonight, Lennox Lewis.
I'd just like to thank you.
I suppose someone somewhere in America might start to question Lennox Lewis again. It always happens, but they are left to look all over again for a new heavyweight who might challenge long-term. Michael Grant simply blown away. Lennox Lewis didn't really have to get into top gear even to do it, Barry, did he?
Well, it was. We did worry that it could be over quickly, and I did say that earlier on. He started like a bullet. When the guy came at him, he made himself available, and when Lennox lands on you with that sort of destructive power, it's not going to take long for him to wipe you out.
More from Lennox with Ian Dark at ringside.
Lennox, many, many congratulations. That was some performance. You didn't need the judges this time here, did you?
No, I brought my own two judges this time. I realized last time when I was in Madison Square Gardens, I didn't have a good showing in the sense that they ripped me out. But this time I brought my own two judges.
Was that the way you planned to do it? Go out and look that exciting?
Yeah, I just wanted to go out there and just utilize my talent. Like I said, Michael Grant's never seen a boxer like me. I just wanted to show the world I'm the best fighter on the planet.
Do you think you made a statement to the Americans here? They were aching, you could hear during the introductions, to get what they regard as their world heavyweight title back, but they haven't got it.
Definitely not. They're going to have to come all the way over to England next time, for real.
How much longer do you want to go on with this business? Do you want to now create your own era of domination, like all the greats of heavyweight history have done? Stick around for 3 or 4 years more?
Well, I just want to stay in the scene until I'm satisfied. You know, right now I'm becoming more and more satisfied every time I step into the ring.
So you're going to be in Britain next, aren't you, in July?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that Francois Botha? That's what we keep hearing.
Yeah, I want the British fans to get an opportunity to see Lennox Lewis showcase.
And then maybe November, David Tua, the big left hooker. What about him?
None of them guys can come test me. You know, I'm the best fighter on the planet. Tua's too short for me. I'm just going to keep him outside and knock him out straight away.
One of the things a lot of us wondered about you, having got to the top of the mountain, whether you'd have the drive and motivation to carry on, but I think you gave the answer to that, didn't you?
Yeah, every time I step into the ring, I'm a pugilist specialist, so it doesn't matter who comes against me. I'll just figure out a way to beat him and just make sure I'm on top. Every time I step in the ring, a victory all the way.
You're going to stick around for a while longer yet. We hope you do, performing like that.
Yes, big up.
Thanks a lot, Lennox. Well done. Thank you.
All he can do is keep beating those they put in front of him, but he looks great for a long reign right now. When we come back, the closing thoughts of Barry, Nicky and Julius, and we'll try to get more reaction from Lennox Lewis and the camp.
In association with HB.
An illegal punch out, that's nonsense. The referee's job is to stop the fighter sort of holding and pulling the inside, but Grant kept dropping his head, and Lennox's punch was legitimate and on the target, and he didn't have a chance of getting up there after that one.
We all said, Barry, that looking at the previous fights of Michael Grant, that his problem was defensive weakness against the right hand. He learned absolutely nothing. His left hand was still down low. He didn't even try to guard against right hands. It was right hands all night that did the damage, and you just cannot let a man like Lennox Lewis hit you with free shots. It just doesn't happen. So really, if he had any chance in this fight, it had to be done in the gym before the fight.
The era of Lennox Lewis domination, which is something we want to see, Julius, we hope it is starting here. Is there any way that Lennox Lewis could be better than he is at the moment? Is this the peak?
No, this is not the peak really, because there are still a couple of guys out there who are in Lennox's era that he has to beat, and then you can say Lennox Lewis was truly the greatest fighter of his era.
So you agree with what Lewis is telling us, that he needs the test for him to produce his best?
I think Lennox is waiting, maybe, or for the time when Tyson is in the frame, and then, you know, we can all truly see who is the best heavyweight of Lennox's era.
It's great fights that make you a great fighter, a memorable fighter. It's the great fights that you're involved in. And I don't agree that Michael Grant was the best that they had in America.
No.
He may be the best American, but he's not the best fighter in America. David, too, is a much more dangerous opponent than Michael Grant. He's a much more accomplished...
That could happen.
Yeah, indeed, it has to happen. It's going to happen by the end of the summer. And there's also the issue with Ike Igiabuchi, who may be going to jail. If he's not, he's the best heavyweight out there. He's the best of the lot. And he's a real fight. And it's those sort of fights that will give... that will mark his name in history, the likes of Lennox Lewis. And I think he can get involved in those great fights.
Nicky, picking up on Ian Dark's point, would you like to see Lennox Lewis, perhaps along the lines of Nassim Hamed and Roy Jones, make the belts completely secondary now and point up and say, doesn't matter, I am the best and I'm recognised as such?
Well, yeah, that's been mentioned, that maybe you should just throw the belts away and say, you know, listen, just come and fight me, I'm still the best, everybody knows I'm the best. But politics in boxing doesn't work, they don't work that way. And believe me, after a while, he's got to keep hold of those belts, and he should be given all the belts. He is the best and allowed to
Well, we know
defend
that's
them
not going to
all.
happen, because
That
you're
doesn't
a
happen.
romantic old fool and bears no relationship to reality.
But exactly,
does it matter?
He has four belts, or would have had 4 belts that he would have had to defend against each of those bodies, number ones, and it just can't be done. They've got to give some leniency and say, listen, he is the number 1 out there, and give him the belts.
There's one fighter out there we forgot to mention
Mike
that
Tyson.
still is a real threat, and he's still a live challenger, and that's Mike Tyson. And he's got to have his chance, and I think Lennox will want to beat him to finish his career.
Got to beat him.
He's got to beat him. He's got to clean the division
He's
up.
definitely the man. At the end of the day, when you think about it, at the end of the day, Mike Tyson is the only real top-class, credible person out there that Lennox should fight, and hopefully will fight.
Is there a fear for you that Lennox Lewis, if he's asked to fight nobody that's much better than Michael Grant, the kids coming through are of that level, that Lewis actually might get bored with the whole thing?
Yeah, definitely, because if you're just going out there and, you know, having to get yourself up and saying, oh, all right, and I've got to fight this guy and I've got to fight that guy, you're not really putting any pressure on yourself. So you're just definitely going to get bored with it.
If he wants to go down in history too, he was robbed of the chance of beating a Riddick Bowe. He never got that chance. He should have had that chance. When he beat Holyfield, people are going to say Holyfield was a little bit past his best.
An old guy.
They may say that about Mike Tyson, but Lennox is a great fighter, and he needs to beat Mike Tyson to go down in history.
Nicky, Julius and Barry, thank you as always. Thank you very much for being with us through the night. It was brief, but it was to the point. We should salute Paul Ingle as we leave tonight. He is still a world champion. Lennox Lewis still very much the outstanding heavyweight in the world right now. And the Americans are left to start looking all over again for a heavyweight hope. And that's sweet. Bye for now.